Hey everybody, and welcome back. My name is Zach Hampson, and today I'm going to talk you guys through my process of painting up this geisha portrait here. So, like a lot of my paintings, it starts with a good underdrawing, and now I left this part in because I thought it'd be interesting to see. A good underdrawing doesn't really just happen just like that. You know, there's trial and error and stuff like that, and thank God, I work in oils, so I can just wipe it back. And doesn't really make a big difference to me at all, as opposed to like if you work in acrylics and it just dries straight away. With my drawing, I'm just trying to find the rhythm, trying to find the flow. It takes like 3 tries or whatever and stuff like that. Sometimes you nail it straight away, sometimes you don't, whatever. But this is kind of the scaffolding for the rest of the piece, right? I'm just trying to find what sits strongest on the size canvas that I have, and what's going to work proportionately to that, and what flows nicely to my own liking, really, because that's all I have to go off of. So aside from that, working up the background, and this first little section is kind of just purely alla prima, purely just a wash of colors, really. That's kind of what I'm laying in here. It's just this. It's like a wash. I'm using this new stuff. It's it's called the Gamblin Artist Oil Colors Solvent-Free Gel. It's a solvent-free gel. This is what it looks like. It's like that. If you can see that there. So that's that. It's really interesting stuff. It comes out like a gel like paste. So I'm really used to using linseed oil. Linseed oil is what I use for pretty much all of my paintings on plein air in the studio. Linseed oil is pretty much the go-to for all of it. But I was recommended this stuff just to try out, and he said he's having a really good time with it, and it was really interesting to use, and he really enjoyed the process of using it. I was like, all right, cool, I'll give it a shot. The biggest reason that I went to linseed oil was because solvents kind of, after using them for a while, kind of like made my hands itchy and like my arms itchy. So that's a reaction that my body's having towards the solvents and stuff. Odorless or non-odorless, either or. So they both did the same thing to me. So I said, all right, get this out of here. Plus, I have a kid now, so I don't want to be working with materials like that and then bringing it home on my clothes or anything like that. So I was like, all right, get that out of here, and purely went linseed oil for like the last couple of years until I was recommended this, which is solvent-free gel. So it's like liquid, but without any solvents or anything like that in it. If you can check it out online, it's not an endorsement or anything. I'm just saying I used that for this painting, this painting's entirety, and it worked really, really well. And I've used it on another painting before, and that worked really good as well. It seems to really hold the brushstroke really nicely, and the vibrancy of the color really nicely. They both sort of work interchangeably with the solvent, with the gel rather, and it's really, really interesting. So if you're interested in something other than linseed oil, which is primarily what I use, this was really good. I do recommend it. Not endorsed, not sponsored, not nothing, just I happened to be using it for this painting, so I mentioned it. So you can see this wash is just entirely about getting the most basic shapes, getting the most basic colors of this like piece. You can see in the background the reference photo that I have up there, and it's a really high quality reference photo too, whereas you can zoom in and it's not really getting too pixelated at about like a 300% zoom in sort of rate, or 200%, whatever it was. If you're working like really low quality stuff, like I've done it and I still do it, I've got a painting over there that I did it from, and it wasn't too high quality and turned out to be really good. That was the painting on the live stream. You can go back a couple of videos on my YouTube here and see that live stream painting. That reference photo wasn't too high quality, but I managed to make it work. So you don't absolutely need high quality reference photo, but it helps, right? Coming in here again, I'm trying to just sculpt out some more brighter sort of colors, some more brighter values rather, particularly in her face, particularly in her skin, trying to find these shapes and trying to refine these shapes, because I've had the most basic sort of shapes, basic sort of forms of the shapes, and what I like to do is go from very simple shapes and then refine. And that's kind of how I approach painting. That's how I approach drawing. That's how I approach my whole sort of art practice. Is these bigger shapes and smaller and smaller and smaller. And I find that's just the easiest way to work, honestly, and the simplest. Not necessarily easiest, but it's definitely the simplest way to work. And it's a way that just allows you to have a straight beeline of what to do next, right? And so that's what I did on this process, like I do with all my other processes there. I'm really enjoying the way that the light is softly hitting her face. There's no real hard shadows in this, except for in the background, of course, which is something I choose to... The background in particular I'm talking about here is I choose to let the background just sort of sit on a... I think I painted it like twice, maybe 3 times ish. I say ish because I didn't really like work it like I am with her. Our figure here, where I'm working her and rendering her out completely to the point that she is the most refined center point of this piece, right? It's not about the pillar behind her, it's not about the wall behind her, it's not even about the guitar she's holding, it's about her, and so I mentally put a circle around her face, and then put another circle a little bit further out around what encompassed her guitar, her hands, right? And then another circle outside of that, and center circle, very refined. You've heard me talk about this before, the Zinlim method, right? This where the center circle, the first circle, is the point of interest, right? And it's the most refined point of interest, right? So refinement and point of interest kind of go hand in hand here when I'm talking about these circles, right? And that's the most refined area. Outside of that, less refined. Outside of that, less refined. And it gets more and more abstract the further outside these circles that you go. And so that's the way I'm painting here as well. This is no difference. I'm keeping her the center of interest, the most refined piece, right? What that does is that gives us a lot of information where I want you to look. And I want you to look at her. I don't want you to be distracted by the background. Obviously, I want you to look at the background, so I make it interesting, I make it beautiful, I make it dynamic, right? But it's only there to prop up the center of interest. And I say this all the time. But a lot of people, I get messages, and one of the biggest problems people have, especially with painting figurative stuff, is they're like, I don't know what to do with the background. And I'm always telling them, the background is only there to help say whatever it is you want to say, right? Especially when it's a figurative type of piece, especially when it's a portrait type of piece, right? The background's only there to prop up what you're trying to say, what we're trying to put across, right? Our focus of interest. Because if our interest isn't focused enough, if it isn't, if it's over here, over there, a little bit over there, the viewer, whoever's, you hang it on a gallery wall, somebody's going to walk in, they're going to look at it and they go like, okay, all right, well, there's no continuity. There's no, okay, that's what I'm looking at. That's what this is about. It's hard to say that because I know a lot of people are really interested in, I want to say this, I want to say that, I want to bring people to that and this. You got to remember that the study was done years and years ago, ages ago, right? People's attention span, they only look at a painting in a gallery for maximum of 7 seconds. 7 seconds. Grandmasters, decades past, huge vista, people, battle scenes, 7 seconds. Think about that. You're painting this big as opposed to meters big scenes, incredible painters, this big, just modern day painters, right? Yet to make our name for ourselves. 7 seconds. Do you really think they're going to spend longer than 7 seconds jumping to here, to here, to here? That's why we've got to simplify it, right? We've got to simplify it. And that just means cutting it to the core, right? And making it easy to digest, Doesn't mean we dumb it down at all. What it means is we make it more interesting, right? We become... we use a lot more intelligence in deciding what stays and what goes. Knowing that we only have 7 seconds to impress anybody, right? Unless you're an artist or an art enthusiast, like myself. Usually when I go and see a painting like that, mentally I know that most of us with today's sort of distractions look at things no longer than 7 seconds. And I've caught myself doing that sometimes. And sometimes there's a piece I really love and I go, oh wow, that's incredible. It's just part of what it is with being alive in today's day and age. It can't be helped. So that's why you can see I'm putting a lot more refinement in the patterns, in the shapes, in the values, and everything that's closer to her head, that's closer to this center circle, whereas things that are getting further and further away start to get looser and looser, and then they just disappear. It's just a really beautiful way to paint, and I really enjoy looking at paintings that are done this way, because it makes it simple. We don't want to overcomplicate our message. We don't want to overcomplicate what people are coming here to look at, right? It's only people like us, people that are into art, artists and stuff, that'll go see a painting and not force themselves, but want to sit down in front of the painting and look at it for multiple minutes, tens of minutes. There's only been maybe one painting I've sat for like half an hour or something like that, just staring into it. Those are very exceptional paintings. I don't very rarely do you come across them, but so keep it simple, right? Get to the point and make the point obvious, right? But then that obvious point grabs them, so you got that 7 seconds, and as they look through it, then the subtleties start to come out, right? Yeah, these subtleties is what's going to grab people. So that the simplicity is going to grab them, the subtlety is going to keep them. Just remember that, guys. Anyways, I really hope you enjoyed watching the process unfold of this video. I do have plans, to also film my palette mixing and stuff like that. If you've been around here for a while, my palette. Palette's literally just a combination of titanium white, cad yellow, yellow ochre, burnt umber, ultramarine blue, cad red, and phthalo blue. Oh, phthalo blue. That's it. That's my entire palette, right? And from that, I mix all these colors. But if that's a section that you want me to put into these videos, like color mixing and stuff like that, and putting that into these videos as well, like shots of that, like I'm planning on doing that anyway, so expect that in the next coming videos and stuff. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope you got a really good look at the piece as I flick through it here now. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. Keeping it that the simplicity grabs them and the subtleties keep them. I think that's a really good line to sort of keep in mind as we paint. It only just came to me then. But leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this video. And let me know if you've had experiences of going through an art gallery and going, oh, that's incredible, and then walking away. Because I've had experiences. Let me know if you guys have done that as well. I'd love to hear that and love to read it. So hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Hit that like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next video. Catch you guys.